So we're off now to collect the wheels. Before I leave Prestige Wheel Centre, I just wanted to show you this RS6. Hello and welcome back to the Volks Wizard channel. Now you won't have seen my 718 Porsche Cayman GT4 on the channel an awful lot recently because basically since it came back from Italy in the autumn, it's been largely just sat in my garage. It's done 1,000 miles since then. I'm not even sure how I've managed to do that. I got rid of the Corrado so I could make a space for it in my garage. It felt stupid having an 8 grand car inside and an 80 grand car outside, and thankfully it just about fits. But it's going to come out of the garage very soon because I've got a big road trip planned. And in advance of that, there's a few things that I needed to do to get it ready. One of them was to take it back to Porsche Solihull for a workshop action, which I'll talk about later. When it was in there, they found a problem with it again. I'm so lucky I've got the Porsche warranty with it. But another change is that I really don't want to do another road trip on Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2 tyres. We were lucky in the autumn, it stayed dry all the way to Italy and back. But actually in the summer, you're more likely to get heavy rain and thunderstorms in the Alps. I think I've had my luck with the Cup 2s and it's time for a change. I have got the replacement tyres here. It feels like I'm driving a van with a bulkhead right now because they're there. I've had to leave space for some new wheels, which Manmas has kind of like justified the purchase of. If I'm going to change the tyres, I might as well change the wheels and keep the originals in the garage. So we're off now to collect the wheels. I'll show you what they are then we'll go off, get the tyres fitted, and then you can see what they look like on the car. I can't wait to see. I've been waiting a long time for this moment, as I will explain later. Well, welcome to Porsche Centre Solihull. So these guys look after my Cayman GT4, and when it came to buying some wheels, I thought I'd try them first, and they did a really good deal. These wheels are not expensive. That's quite important to point out. I will now show you what I have bought and explain why I have bought them. So this is Simon.
Oh, there, you're
So
right.
if you need parts, Simon here is your man. These are something that I've lusted over for a long time. I think they've been, do you think gold wheels have been on Porsches about 10 years now?
Probably, I'd have thought, yeah.
I remember Chris Harris had them on his black GT3 Touring, the one that got crashed. And I thought, well, if they're cool enough for Chris Harris, they're good enough for me. So these are the original wheels for the 718 GT4, but in satin aurum. Aurum is just a Latin word for gold. They are 3.5 grand the set, so that works out at like £900 each. Compare that, that's including that, compare that to a Pretoria at Volkswagen. For some reason, it's a lot cheaper. They're not a heavy wheel. We'll try and weigh them later, but that's pretty light for a 20. So I don't know if they're forged. They're not stamped, forged. We'll look at them later in more detail. All we're going to do now is just check them that they're not damaged, get them in the back of the S4, hopefully, and then get them over to Prestige Wheel Centre to get the tyres fitted. So yeah, can't wait. Well, that actually didn't go to plan. I knew it was going to be tight with the 4 tyres and the 4 wheels in the S4. It's not that big a car, but I thought I'd get 3 boxes in the back with the tyres and then have 1 wheel loose in the passenger footwell where it won't get damaged. As it turned out, I could only just about get 2 wheel boxes in the back, so it's going to mean 2 trips. It could be worse though. It's not that far to Prestige Wheel Centre who are going to fit the tyres to the rims, but it all depends on the M42 moving, which right now it isn't moving that well, but it could be worse. Today is one of those really hot days we had towards the end of June. It's 24.5 degrees right now. It's only just not even 11 o'clock. It's going to get up to the 30s today. I'm sitting in the air-conditioned S4 with my tunes playing. Well, actually, it's quite a nice place to be on a day like today. I'm not really a big fan of getting too hot, so I'll just sit back, relax, and I'll see you next when we're at Prestige Wheel Centre with all 4 wheels. Okay, well, we're now at Prestige Wheel Centre in Birmingham. Check them out, by the way, for wheel refurbishments and new wheels. I should have really maybe bought some from here because they do everything, including some really nice BBS wheels that suit the GT4. But I wanted to keep the car standard but different, hence why I went to Porsche for an original GT4 wheel, just in a different colour. There's a lot happening here today. They've very kindly fitted me in. They don't normally fit tyres for people, but they do me a big favour. We've got a chap from the lock-in wheel bolt removal company that used to be next door to me, and he's about to get a lock-in wheel nut off this apparently Audi exclusive Java Green RS6, which is going for some 23-inch Vossen wheels. That's going to look really, really cool. There's actually one on the front already, which is here, 23, 22. That's going to look amazing. Anyway, back to my wheels. So let's just have a quick look at them. This is a front wheel, so 8.5 inches wide. And it's made by a company called SSM. They're not particularly well known when it comes to sort of aftermarket wheels, but they do a lot of manufacturing for OEMs. And I'm pretty sure they were the company behind the infamous wheels on the B5 Audi RS4 that kept on buckling. What we're doing now is getting the tyres fitted with new TPMS sensors. Now these are about 300 quid a set from Porsche, I think. These were bought off Autodoc in Germany, but delivered within a week via Every, and they were 25 quid each. They're made by a company called Huff. If you can see, it says on there, a joint venture of something and Huff, and they are OEM specs, so they should work really reliably. The battery life on them should be good. Now the guys here at Prestige Wheel Centre very kindly loaned me these scales to measure the weight of the GT4 wheels. So this is the front wheel, it's the 8.5J and it's 10.5 kilograms. And then the back one, which is 11J, that weighs 11.8 kilograms. So they're not super light, which is kind of reassuring really. Before I leave Prestige Wheel Centre, I just wanted to show you this RS6 that was in the workshop. They just got it out for some photography because they're very proud of the way this car looks on its new Vosm wheel. It's on Continental tyres, 315/25/23. That's a big tyre, and it's the same front and back on this car. Apparently it's got 11-inch wheels. Have a look at that. If you like what you see, then get in touch with the guys here at Prestige Wheel Centre for some wheels of your own. Okay, first wheel is now built up. This is a back wheel, 295/30 ZR20 tyre on it. Let me talk about the tyres then. So with Porsches, you need N-rated tyres. That means tyres that have gone through the approval process with Porsche. Michelin engineers work with Porsche to create a compound that's, or a sidewall stiffness, whatever the attribute is, that suits whatever the manufacturer wants. And there are only two that make N-rated tyres in this size. It's either Michelin Pilot Sport 4S or it's a Pirelli that's also N-rated. Obviously we've got Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2, but that's what's already on the car. So these were bought from Camskill online. They've been going for years. The only problem is trying to get them fitted because a lot of places won't fit tyres that they haven't supplied. So bear that in mind, but you might find somebody, they'll charge you 60 to 80 quid. There also was an 80 quid cashback deal with Michelin during June, which unfortunately is over now. So these were delivered next day, by the way. I didn't really need them that quickly. Made on the 5th week of 24, so that's February of this year. It is now June, so they're about 4 months old. And there we go. I am going to do a back-to-back test with the Cup 2s before I take the Cup 2s off. But yeah, let's get these wheels now in the back of the S4 and get them finally on the GT4. But thanks again to the guys here at Prestige Wheel Centre for fitting me in today on what is a very busy day for them. But before we take the old wheels and tyres off the GT4, I just wanted to try and record the performance of the Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2 tyres that are on it right now. On the EU tyre label, they're a pretty good match for the Pilot Sport 4S, almost disappointingly so. Obviously, the Pilot Sport 4S are better in the wet. The wet weather performance goes up from grade D to grade B, although that is just wet braking in a straight line that they test them, but it's still representative of how we know they perform. But when it comes to MPG and noise, they're actually very similar, disappointingly similar. So we've got grade D for rolling resistance, which reflects in the MPG. And actually the Cup 2s are quieter on the front axle by 1 decibel than the Pilot Sport 4S is on the back. They're the same amount of noise. So what I want to do before I take them off is just record how the Cup 2s perform when it comes to noise and MPG. We're going to use a decibel meter on my phone to record the noise, and we're going to do steady speed, use a trip computer for the MPG. One little caveat is that the EU tyre label only records noise as drive-by, so what we hear from outside the car, not what you hear inside the cabin. That's more important to me, so there may be a difference there. I'm hoping the PS4s are a bit quieter because the Cup 2s are quite noisy. It does strain your voice having a chat to your passenger. So what we need to do is get up to 55 miles an hour. That's what I'm going to do on this road. It's never not fun doing that. Now we need to be in 6th gear, the aircon's off, 18 degrees by the way, set the cruise to 55, reset the trip on this brow, just after it there. Okay, that's counting away. Now we need to get the decibel meter working just where the surface changes here, just after the bump. Okay, I've stopped the decibel recording and now look at the cruise 35.3 on the MPG, just by the sign there, right turn sign. So we're going to replicate that on the Pilot Sport Fluorescent, but we'll do it in 2 directions as well. Now we don't need to record the noise again. What we've got is a average of 78 and a peak of 82, so that's interesting. Okay, let's just get up to 60 again. 55, sorry. 55, and now reset the trip, just where this road starts to go left. Just after this lay-by, that's 49.5, so we'll average that. Okay, now I can finally fulfill my midlife crisis and get these black wheels off and get my Satin Arum wheels that I've been dreaming of for such a long time finally fitted to my Cayman GT4. Now while I'm halfway through swapping the wheels over, I thought it'd be a good time to compare the old and the new. So on the left, here we have the Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2. You can tell because it's got this really thick shoulder of almost solid rubber that's designed to be leant on track, versus the Michelin Pilot Sport 4S. So same size, same everything apart from possibly the compound, but definitely the tread pattern. The wheels are identical, so you've already seen in these, made by I think SSM in Germany, which is the same as these, even though they're a few years apart. They've got the same supplier, which is good. So tread depth wise, I've checked the fronts, they're on 8mm from the factory, and yeah, so are these back, so that's 8mm there. These come with, I think, about 6. They were on 5.8 when I bought the car, they're on 5.2 now. Even just the amount of tread depth will help these tyres dissipate water so much better than these. But yeah, if you're going to go on track in a GT car, you need to do it on the right tyre. So I'll keep these in reserve for one day when I'm brave enough to do that. But for now, yeah, let's finish the job and get these on the car and start enjoying it all year round. One little finishing touch that adds to the cost, and a not insignificant amount, especially if you drop on the floor and damage them, is the new Satin Arum centre caps, because the ones on the original wheels are black and they would look a bit stupid. Now these are about 50 quid each, that's 200 quid just for the caps. There's no cheap way of doing this, you have to go to Porsche and get them. What I've learned is that with Porsches, you have to put them on so that the valve is at the bottom, so that you know I suppose maybe when you're at racetrack where the valve is, you just look at the bottom where the centre cap's sort of looking down onto. There we go. A nice fit and almost the same colour. Okay, before we have a closer look at the GT4's new wheels, we first need to see how the new Pilot Sport 4S tyres compare with the Pilot Sport Cup 2s when it comes to noise and miles per gallon. I should point out this test was performed once the tyres had covered just over 100 miles. Okay, well here we go then on the Michelin Pilot Sport 4Ss, so up to 55 miles an hour. With the cruise, that's set. Then on the brow, oh it needs to be in 6, that's it. Aircon's off, 17 degrees on the brow, reset, done. And then down here we need to do the decibels. So there's a bump and then a surface change coming up just as the road kinks to the left. Okay, that's the decibel stop. Now we need to stop record the MPG at this sign, and it's 34.7. Okay, so now we're going to do just the MPG in the other direction, so 55 miles an hour on the cruise, and then reset just as the road goes to the left. Okay, we're coming up to the lay-by now. This is where we stopped the test last time, and we got 49.8, 49.9. Okay, let's go back to base and see what that actually means, how that compares with the Cup 2s. Okay, noise-wise, the Cup 2 recorded a maximum of 82 decibels and an average of 78. The Pilot Sport 4Ss recorded a maximum of 83 and an average of 79, so exactly 1 decibel higher, which weirdly reflects the EU tyre label, but I wasn't expecting that, particularly inside the car. Never mind, onto MPG. The Cup 2 did an average of 42.4 miles per gallon, while the Pilot Sport 4Ss did 42.3, so just 0.1 of an MPG apart. Looks like another win for the Cup 2, but I think allowing for tolerance, because I may not have read the MPG at exactly the same moment in each car, I think it's best to call that a draw. What's harder to demonstrate is just how much sweeter the car is to drive on the Pilot Sport 4S tyres. I'm not sure whether it's because it's just got bigger tread blocks that flex when they're loaded up, or it's just got a softer sidewall, but the rear tyres lean into a corner more now, rather than only moving when grip is lost, which on the road is exactly the kind of communication you want from the rear axle in a mid-engine rear-wheel drive sports car. At least we know for a fact that the Pilot Sport 4Ss are going to be better in the wet than the Cup 2s. Something I think I'm going to appreciate on my next road trip, which is coming up very, very soon. The new number plate on this car will give you a little clue as to one of our destinations. Now, earlier in the video, I mentioned that the car had to go back to Porsche for a workshop action. It's like a recall, but it's just not as serious. I got a letter a couple of weeks ago and it said that Porsche needed to recode the instrument cluster to enable a tourist driving setting for the headlights. So basically when you drive in Europe on the wrong side of the road, you don't blind people coming the other way. Now, obviously I've been abroad in this car already, and I remember sitting on Eurotunnel thinking, where the hell is the function? Well, it wasn't there. I thought the clever PDLS lights would be doing it automatically through GPS. Well, sorry if I blinded you in Switzerland, Italy, France and Germany and Austria last year. Yeah, I didn't really know I was doing that, but hopefully this year it'll be sorted. Okay, now we can talk about how the new wheels have affected the look of my Cayman GT4. I should point out the change of colour has come about simply as a bonus from needing another set of wheels. I wanted to keep the original Cup 2 tyres on the black wheels just in case I'm ever brave enough to go on track. Therefore, I needed another set of wheels to put the Pilot Sport 4Ss onto. I could have bought black again from Porsche. If I wanted to be boring, I could have been slightly less boring and gone for satin platinum grey. The only other colour they offered through the Tech Equipment range was satin aurum gold, which is a colour I have been fascinated with for a long time. Another reason though I went for it was because, like silver, it shows off the wheel style really well, and you get a good definition between the wheel and the tyre, unlike you do with grey and black. I couldn't have ordered silver from Porsche anyway, but if I really wanted silver, I just got these painted by Prestige Wheel Centre in silver. But I felt silver was a little bit too boring, in my opinion, for a car like the GT4, and I think gold wheels on a red car really make a statement. Whether it's a statement a 52-year-old man should be making, I'm not sure. But I think my fascination with gold wheels goes back to being a child of the 80s, because they were really popular on the aftermarket, and gold on red is a very Ferrari kind of colour combination, whether it's a road car or their F1 car, so I'm pretty sure that influenced me as well. I know it's a brave choice, I absolutely love it, but I think it's going to be one of those Marmite things where you either really love it like I do, or you really hate it. I did a poll on Instagram, it came back actually better than I thought. It was 2/3 in favour, 1/3 against, so yeah, that's quite good for one of my wheel changes. But as ever, let me know what you think via the comments, like it or hate it. A big thanks to the guys at Prestige Wheel Centre, and also big thanks to Simon and Gareth at Porsche Centre Solihull. Big thanks also to you guys for watching this video. Keep subscribing, there's going to be some amazing content over the next few weeks, including the road trip with this car that I'm quite nervous about because it's quite a long trip, but it should be worth it. And then later on we're also going to do an amazing GTI road trip, the like of which you've probably never ever seen before. So yeah, keep subscribing, keep commenting, and I'll see you for the next one very soon.